So yes, our technology is based on the idea that the internet hive mind constitutes an untapped reservoir of human processing power that can be used to carry out text analytics tasks. So we are Team Voxday, and I'm here today to present our text analysis software. This actually grew out of my own research, which I was doing at the LKY school. I had this big stack of interview data to process and to analyze, and it was taking a very long time. So we came up with the idea for an algorithm that would help speed it up. And it seemed to us that this might be something that could interest people who had the same problem as me. So we did some market research. We spoke to about 80 people in the public and the private sector. And they said that yes, if we could find a way to help them analyze text data more quickly, that is something that they would pay money for. So what is our solution? Well, it's an algorithm that is called the latent categories methodology that is currently going through the patenting process right now. And what it does is it uses the natural fractal properties of language to perform human-like categorization tasks on large blocks of text. Now, there is already a market for software to help you analyze text, and in fact there are two. There's the data analytics market, and that is based largely on hand coding in the qualitative sense, where a researcher will go through and underline the parts in text that interest him, and then it counts them up at the end. There is also the natural language processing market, which relies on machine learning algorithms. So why are there two markets instead of one? Well, it's because all of the products currently available are deficient along one of two axes. If you need speed, you have to sacrifice customizability, and if you need customizability, you have to sacrifice speed. So if you've got a task that you absolutely need to do very quickly, say social media analytics, you're more or less obliged to go with natural language processing. And that will carry it out very fast, but it needs a high degree of technical skill to use, and the algorithms lack transparency, meaning that they're very hard to customize according to your own specific needs. On the other hand, if you've got a task where you absolutely need to know what's going in and what is coming out, a high degree of customizability, which is the case for a lot of university researchers, you're currently obliged to go with hand coding and qualitative data analytics. Now, our software aims to provide both speed and customizability. So how is it that we do this? Well, for a start, the software automates the task, so already we're far faster than hand coding. But our algorithm, while being just as powerful as natural language processing algorithms, is also much simpler. This means that we can be 100% transparent and 100% customizable, even for non-technical users. So what exactly are we promising our users? Well, there's the speed item, as I mentioned. At the moment, if you've got a full professor at NUS hand-coding documents, which is often the case, it will take him about a month to get through 150 to 200 pages. And you're paying him $17,000 to $20,000 to do this. The worst part is, he won't even necessarily do a very good job. Because humans are fallible, they get bored and tired and make mistakes, and they bring their own biases to the task. If you have two people hand code the same document, you can have anything up to 60% difference between the two versions. Our software doesn't suffer from these problems. Everything's automated, so there is no accuracy problem. And because it is a corpus comparison algorithm, not a machine learning algorithm, that means there is no training period during which the trainers can introduce their own bias into the system itself. These three factors combined mean that you can process a lot more data in a much shorter time and spot trends that people using other methods won't necessarily see. So what does this software look like exactly? Well, I'm going to show you a brief demo, and this demo is based on a demo that we did for real for a potential client, which was Shaw Cinemas here in Singapore. We did this on the spot, so we just grabbed a random text, which happened to be the biography of the founder. You can see it there on the right-hand side. And we ran it through the software. The software picked out the main topics in this text. So you'll see there is one category for the names of movie directors. There's a category for film-related words. There's a category for family-related words, and so on. Which, as you can see now, the user is free to modify, add his own categories, change the contents of categories, delete categories, and so on, with the statistics relating to each category automatically appearing in the bottom corner. So how are we going to convince people that this is software that they need? Well, something else that came out of the market research we did is the fact that because the current packages tend to lack transparency, people tend to make their purchasing decisions based either on reputation or on personal contacts. So for this reason, during the initial stage of the business, we intend to focus on providing a consultancy service. This means that even with a very basic version of the software, we can target the high-profile clients, provide training seminars, and thereby build up our corporate reputation to a point at which we can start targeting the high-value clients, the institutional subscribers, and the API sales, which is where the multi-million-dollar contracts are. This strategy has the additional advantage of meaning that we can get into positive revenue territory very early on. So we can use the revenue from the consultancy side of the business to improve, develop, and market the software, and thereby gradually pivot to a point at which we are 100% software business, and thereby move to a much more scalable industry. But this isn't just a theory. We've already begun hitting our business milestones. We got our first customer last year, as well as our first sales partnership. And we intend to spend the coming year progressively improving the software and targeting larger and larger markets. If this seems like something that could interest you, please come and talk to either myself or my co-founder Junjae, or Paul, who will be also at our booth. We're currently running a demo in the entrance, which is based on analyzing internet gossip to work out whether an IPO will pop or flop. So if that's something you want to know, please come and visit us. Thank you very much.
That sounds interesting. I'll be interested to see. So I think, again, please let us know if you have any questions, okay, to Vox Day, text analysis. I will start with one. So if I can understand correctly, maybe a bank would be one of your potential customers. And banks do a lot of surveys, right? They always push to us. And how can your technology make sure that, you know, they actually listen to what we have to say? One. The other thing is, you know, do you catch sentiments? Do you catch, you know, beyond the current categorization technologies that are there?
So this was something that came out of the software by accident. We only realized it could do this once we started testing it out. What we can actually use this software for is identifying not just the direction of opinion, but also the strength of the opinion. So for example, if you're a bank doing a survey and you say, do you like our customer service? And have people answer yes or no. They have to pick an answer, and maybe a lot of them say no, and you panic and you think, oh my God, this is terrible, we're losing customers. But you haven't asked them whether customer service is important to them. Maybe they don't like the customer service, but that is nothing compared to their opinion on your interest rates, which is great. So our software lets you get a more precise impression of what determines people's behavior, and thereby make better predictions.
All right. Any further question from the audience? Oh, all right.
Yeah, can you share with us the two trials or the two projects that you're working on? What is the outcome for the customer who use your software?
You mean the projects we already did on the websites, or the
projects
corporate?
that you're working on now?
Okay. So the first customer we have is the LKY school, which commissioned us to do a survey to do with socioeconomic status in Singapore. They wanted something that would go viral on the internet and could attract a lot of clicks via their website. So what we're looking at doing with that, which is ongoing, is trying to define how different generations of Singaporeans define socioeconomic status. Is it the car, the club, and the condo? Or for younger people, maybe it's how many Instagram followers you've got. So that's something we're putting out open-ended questions to find out more about. The other partnership that we've got is with Solaris Consortium, which is a Singapore-based management consultancy. And they have been promoting our product to their clients on a commission basis. So that is how we got the Shore pitch, for example. And I'm also going to be giving some seminars in Indonesia in the spring from that contract.
All right, any more questions? All right, I have an interesting one, the $1 million question. So who do you see as your potential buyer down the road?
So there are actually several big companies that make a habit of buying smaller companies in this field. There is IBM, there is Google, Microsoft, and so on. And a lot of the times, when someone has created a text analytics algorithm or an API, they will tend to be bought out by someone who is already in the field and is much bigger. So at the end of the day, we would be very interested in being bought out by, say, IBM or Google, because we know that they're in the market for products such as ours.
Sounds good. So if you want to see more about the IPO and generally know more about the technology, please visit the booth outside. Thank you, Jennifer Junjo from Vox DA.